In the Old Testament of the Hebrew Bible, Jethro Reuel was Moses' father-in-law, a Kenite shepherd and priest of Midian. In Exodus, Moses' father-in-law is initially referred to as Reuel, but then as Jethro. He was the father of Hobab in the book of Numbers chapter 10 verse 29. He is also revered as the spiritual founder and chief prophet in his own right in the Druze religion, and considered an ancestor of all Druze. In Exodus, Jethro is called a priest of Midian and became father-in-law of Moses after he gave his daughter Zipporah in marriage to Moses. He is introduced in Exodus chapter 2 verse 18. Jethro is recorded as living in Midian, a territory stretching along the eastern edge of the Gulf of Aqaba in what is today northwestern Saudi Arabia. Some believe Midian is within the Sinai Peninsula. Biblical maps from antiquity show Midian on both locations. Jethro's daughter, Zipporah, became Moses' wife after Moses had fled Egypt, having killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave. Having fled to Midian, Moses intervened in a water access dispute between Jethro's 7 daughters and the local shepherds. Jethro consequently invited Moses into his home and offered him hospitality. However, Moses remained conscious that he was a stranger in exile, naming his first son Gershom, meaning stranger there. Moses is said to have worked as a shepherd for Jethro for 40 years before returning to Egypt to lead the Hebrews to Canaan, the promised land. After the battle at Rephidim against the Amalekites, word reached Jethro that under Moses' leadership the Israelites had been delivered out of Egypt, so he set out to meet with Moses. They met in the wilderness at the mountain of God. Moses recounted to Jethro all that had taken place, and then, according to Exodus chapter 18 verses 9 to 12a, Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behave proudly, he was above them. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. Following this event, it was Jethro who encouraged Moses to appoint others to share in the burden of ministry to the nation Israel by allowing others to help in the judgment of smaller matters coming before him. These events take place in the Torah portion Yitro. Names. There is some disagreement over the name of Moses' father-in-law. In the KJV translation of Judges chapter 4 verse 11, a man named Hobab appears as Moses' father-in-law, while Numbers chapter 10 verse 29 makes him the son of Reuel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law. Reuel is noted Exodus chapter 2 verse 16 as a priest of Midian who had 7 daughters. Exodus chapter 2 verse 18, the girls return to Reuel the father. Reuel becomes Moses' father-in-law in Exodus chapter 2 verse 21. Moses agreed to stay with the man who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. In Numbers chapter 10 verse 29, the Hebrew for the name Reuel is the same as the Hebrew for Reuel. The reason for the difference is that the Hebrew character and is sometimes used merely as a vowel and sometimes as g, eng, and gn, because of the difficulty of its pronunciation by European speakers. Reuel, with the first syllable strong accented, is nearer to the true pronunciation. Some suppose he was father to Hobab, who was also called Jethro, a likely possibility. Another thing to consider is that there is only one biblical Hebrew word for both brother-in-law and father-in-law. It is, in fact, the word for any and all relations by marriage. If one takes into account the biblical custom of multiple names for one person as well as Judges chapter 4 verse 11 calling Hobab Reuel's son, Reuel and Jethro both appear as Moses' father-in-law, while Hobab may be seen as his brother-in-law. However, this is disputed among theologians. Druze. Jethro, Moses' non-Hebrew father-in-law, is a central figure, particularly in the rites and pilgrimages of the Druze religion. He is viewed as a prophet in Druze belief. Rbshuayb is the site recognized by Druze as the tomb of Shuayb. It is located in Hittin in the Lower Galilee and is the holiest shrine and most important pilgrimage site for the Druze. Each year on April 25, the Druze gather at the site in a holiday known as Ziyara al-Nabi Shuayb to discuss community affairs and celebrate Jethro's death anniversary, with singing, dancing and feasting. Another Druze shrine in ISNI is the supposed burial place of Jethro's sister, Sitchawana. Jethro is revered as the chief prophet in the Druze religion. They believe he was a hidden and true prophet who communicated directly with God and then passed on that knowledge to Moses, whom they describe as a recognized and revealed prophet. Quote, according to Druze belief, Moses was allowed to wed Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, after helping save his daughters and the flock from competing herdsmen. He is also considered an ancestor of the Druze, as is expressed by such prominent Druze as Amal Nasr el-Din, and according to Salman Taroq, who was a prominent Druze sheikh. This makes the Druze related to the Jews through marriage. This view has been used to represent an element of the special relationship between Israeli Jews and Druze. The Israeli Druze also have a folk tale called Jethro's Revenge on the inhabitants of the village of Hittin.